Do you ever notice how people end up making the same New Year's resolutions year after year after year? I've often heard and seen that people have the same New Year's resolutions. Friends will say, I want to do this, I want to do that. And I'll remember, I heard the same thing last year and the previous year. Has that ever happened to you that you have a New Year's resolution and you think back, I think I wanted to do that last year? Or do you know somebody who that happened to? Why do we stay stuck? And what are the secrets to moving forward with New Year's resolutions and creating success in our lives? So today, I'm going to talk about beyond and better than New Year's resolutions. I'm going to talk a little bit first why we often stay stuck in New Year's resolutions. And then I'm going to share some secrets that I share with my clients that I work with who achieve fabulous success and certainly learn the secret to getting past the obstacles and past getting stuck. So, again, we want to talk about getting out of those obstacles that hold us back and really moving forward. Now, New Year's resolutions, it's usually like a general wish or a goal. I want to do this. I want to accomplish that. I want to be this. So, common some common examples of New Year's resolutions are I want to lose weight. I want to get a better job. I want happier relationships. I want less stress. I want some new health habits. I want some new hobbies. Um, those are some of the common examples. And you may have some of your own that might be a little different from that. But I want you to think about what your New Year's resolutions may have been, what they may be. And now I want to talk a little bit about why we're stuck and what we really need to get results. So, New Year's resolutions are like a general goal, a wish. It's a wish, a hope, an idea, a dream, a want. I want to lose weight. I want a better job. I want happier relationships. I want to have less stress in my life. I want to adopt new health habits. I want new hobbies. That's the list that I recently mentioned to you, and I'm just saying them again. So, a resolution is a general goal, a wish, a hope, an idea, a dream, a want. I want to do something. And there are books and articles and videos about setting goals. And for New Year's resolutions, the statistics show that only 8% of people who set New Year's resolutions actually have reached them and are there at the end of a year. So if you set a New Year's resolution in a December or January at the beginning of a year, when you get to that December, the statistics suggest that only about 8% of people will actually get there. Now, what are some of the things that are getting in the way? Well, I'm going to tell you there's actually a day that's been named Quitter's Day. That's about 2 weeks into the new year, into January. It's called Quitter's Day. And what that refers to is that people get so busy in their lives, their daily activities, their tasks, that they often forget about their New Year's resolutions. They forget that it was New Year's recently and that it was holiday time. And they have moved on in their life and they're taking care of their busy activities. And they've forgotten about the resolutions. And by the time February comes, if they hadn't forgotten about it by Quitter's Day in January, most people, or many people, if you ask them in February, did you have any New Year's resolutions this year? They'll either say, they might say, I don't remember, or I think I did, and they'll kind of say they let it go. Or they may say they had New Year's resolutions, but I haven't had a chance to work on it yet. Which means, usually, that by the time December comes, they will be among the 92% who have not reached their New Year's resolution. So, here is a key factor. Listen up. The problem is, and I've said that New Year's resolutions are just an idea, a thought, a wish, a hope, a dream. What you need is a plan, a method, a pathway, a blueprint, a map. You need not just an idea or a dream or a hope. You need a pathway to get you where you're going. And I often talk about this. I've spoken about this and tell you how I talk about this with my clients. If you have a goal, a New Year's resolution, and you want to get to a destination, you need not just the goal. You need to create a pathway like a GPS in a car, which tells you how you are going to get from your starting point to your destination. And when you can map out all of the steps, then you can build the pathway to get there. Now, this can be challenging because in reality, it's not just like a map where it's easy to look at a starting point and a destination, and you can see the roads you have to take. Very often, our goals are really high-level goals, and it's a little hard to figure out what the steps are, how you need to get there. And so my clients find that support is often helpful. Having an outside eye, somebody who can see from a more objective view how to create a pathway, and a more experienced view how to create a pathway, can get you there faster, more reliably, more confidently, more easily. These are all things to think about. But the important thing is that the New Year's resolution, the idea, the goal, the hope is not enough. You need a system to move you forward. And in fact, and I teach this to my clients, I'm going to share this with all of you because I want all of you to reach success in my group. There is really a 4-part system that is important in goal reaching. One is to know what the goal is, and for the goal to be specific. We also talk about SMART goals, about being specific, measurable, attainable, realistic and relevant, and having a time frame. Again, that's great, but it's not enough. That's only the first stage. The second stage is you have to have that pathway, that plan, that blueprint, the map to get you there. And the third step in the system of goal reaching is to have a review process. Not just to sit back and say, well, I'll wait by default and see when it happens, but you have to have a regular review system on a regular basis to figure out, where am I, what have I accomplished, what have I not accomplished. And then at times, you may need to go to the next level in our system, and that is to revise. There are times when we need to revise our pathway, our plan, our blueprint, our map, because sometimes something else happened, or we didn't anticipate another obstacle getting in the way, or we find that there's a better way to get from where you are now to the final destination. And then you have to review on an ongoing basis and review how far you are, what's left to go to gain your plan, until you review and you realize, I am there. I have reached success. And that, my friends, is how you directly have a life of accomplishment, to have systems, a system that works for you. And I know this may sound a little either complicated to you, or it may sound oversimple and you're not figuring out, well, what are the steps that I'm going to have to figure out? What's really helpful is to try this out with 1 or 2 or 3 goals in a program to learn the system and use it and internalize it in your mind. And once you learn it, you can become a high achiever. You can become a success builder, somebody who consistently reaches goals because you've learned the system of reaching goals, of not just having New Year's resolutions, not just having goals, but learning to have a map, a blueprint, and a system to build the steps, review, revise until you reach and attain your goal. And again, once you learn this system, you have it, you internalize it, you just use it again over and over, and it becomes easy then to reach goals. As I say, you use, rinse, and repeat. You have a system, and sometimes you adapt it, of course, for new goals. You have new steps, but you learn the pathway, the way to appraise, evaluate, revise, and keep your momentum in moving ahead. So again, I want you to think about the steps that we talked about today and about why it's beyond and better than New Year's resolutions, as I mentioned in my title today. Beyond and better than New Year's resolutions, and some keys that are important. The first key is you don't need just a New Year's resolution or a goal. You need a plan, a pathway, a map, a blueprint, a system. You need the steps to move forward. Where people usually and often get stuck is they just have the New Year's resolution and goal, and they sit back and smugly say, I have a New Year's resolution. I'm going to do something really important this year. And they don't realize that they're stuck because they don't have a plan. So you don't need just a New Year's resolution. You need a plan and a pathway. Key number 2 is, in addition to the pathway, you need a system which will allow you to evaluate where you've gotten over a period of time and to regularly assess, evaluate where you are, and revise when you need to, so that you maintain momentum. You keep energy, you keep forward movement, so you're moving towards various goals, not just one goal at a time, but I usually have my clients working on 3, 4, 5 goals at a time in different areas of their life. So one goal is usually work related, one may be home or family related, and one may be a personal goal, maybe a health goal or a hobby or some personal goal. And I have people working on 3, 4, 5 goals at a time, which is really good. It really brings us to creating our best life, to our life success. So I really encourage you to think about all the steps we spoke about today, about having not just a goal, not just a New Year's resolution, but having a blueprint, a pathway, a map, about moving forward with that and having, beyond just a map, having a system where you evaluate over time and revise and update until you drive to your destination where you want to go. And this is part of the system that I have, that I work with my clients on creating their best life, how to create your best life. I have groups with my clients that are my Success Builders Club. I have my High Achievers Club. I have my beginners group, really just learning to meet goals. If you'd like to find out what level you'd be at and how this might work for you, or if you just want to talk about some elements of reaching goals, I will put my calendar in the chat sometime tonight, and I would be happy to meet with a limited number of people in our group to help you figure out what you need to do to get on track, not just to have a New Year's resolution or goals, but to be really crafty and educated in building pathways and blueprints and maps to get you where you want to go, to adapting a system that allows you to revise, to evaluate, appraise where you've gotten, and update your maps and blueprints and stages and steps as you need to, so that you really are creating your best life, that you are becoming a success builder, that you can move forward and become, if you wish, a high achiever. And we'd all love to be high achievers in our lives. So I'm so excited to share this with you and help you move beyond and get better than just New Year's resolutions, but to move to life success. So I'd be happy to talk more with you about this if you'd like. And of course, I invite you to join us every week in our group at 8 o'clock Eastern Time on Sundays. Join me next Sunday for our next topic. If you have a particular topic that you'd like me to talk about, make an appointment as well and let me know, or send me a message. And I would love to be of help to you, to your family, to your workplace. I often come in and speak to organizations, community groups, businesses about creating success, about being highly productive, increasing your productivity, and really reaching goals of individuals, goals of departments, goals of companies, goals of community groups and organizations. Let's see how this can help you. I can't wait to talk to you if you'd like to have a conversation, and I will see you here again next week in our group.